This is Brian, and welcome back to this commentary playthrough of Final Fantasy III. So yeah, last time we tried to go ahead and finish the game, but mistakes were made. Kefka ended up wiping us out. But knowing now what I do know from that experience, it'd be pretty simple to get through it here. Could have been pretty simple last time, I just kind of forgot that he does that. Welcome, friends! Yeah, and I said I'd go ahead and read through all this again. I knew you'd make it here, so I've prepared some suitable entertainment for you. How long are you going to let the destruction continue? I've tapped into the ultimate power. Observe. Such magnificent power. You are like insects to me. I will exterminate everyone and everything. People will keep rebuilding the things you take from them. And I'll destroy those too. Why do people rebuild things they know are going to be destroyed? And people cling to life when they know they can't live forever. Think how meaningless each of your lives is. It's not the net result of one's life that's important. It's the day-to-day concerns, the personal victories, and the celebration of life. And love. It's enough that people are able to experience the joy that each day can bring. And have you found your joy in this nearly dead world of ours? Yes. Know what love is. And I have learned to celebrate life and the living. My family lives on inside of me. I know what friendship is and family. It is my dream to build a kingdom in which I can guarantee freedom and dignity. I have come to experience anew the love of my brother. I've met someone who can accept me for what I am. I have a special little granddaughter. And I have a brave grandpa who will stand by me through it all. My friend's airship and her love. And my friends here. You, my friends. Me, ueo, all of you. This is sickening. Sound like chapters from a self-help booklet. Prepare yourselves. Now, for my next trick, I will make you all disappear. Kefka, you don't know what you're doing. Stop. Yep, time for a little Kefka mayhem. I command the greatest power in the universe. You were all helpless before me. I will destroy everything. I will create a monument to non-existence. Life will go on. There will always be people and dreams. No, I will hunt them down. I will destroy it all. Destroy, destroy, destroy! We will not allow you to harm another living thing. But what fun is destruction if no precious lives are lost? All right. It's over, Kefka. Oh, for the most part, I'll stick with basically what I started with last time. Except I probably won't put lock in. doesn't matter too much, I don't suppose, but probably go with Realm. Alright, the first few parts I don't really need to worry too much about. Get a haste 2 going. And even if I use life 3, I don't know if that carries over in between the parts of the battle, so probably gonna hold off on that. I was gonna say, it's about time that Cure 3 went off. Probably gonna try to do a little bit better also at kind of waiting until some of these spells go off to make my decision for my next attack, just in case I need to do a heal instead of casting off an offensive spell. Like here, Celeste got hit a few times, so let's just queue up a Cure 3. Okay. Now, do I need to reapply haste? Because if haste is still going, then that would probably mean that my life root could carry over too, so I might start casting that. Yeah, it seems like it did. So, do a cure. And let's get life 3 on everybody then. Now, before I get to his final form, or when I get to it, I might cast a life 3 on at least 1 or 2 people anyway, just to make sure it's on. I was afraid of that. Well, this is going to wipe out at least Realm, probably. Oh no, it healed her. Okay. Come on. Okay. Could have just used a haste too. Eh, whatever. Need to start doing some damage here. Been playing defense too much here. It's mostly that realm confusion that kind of messes things up for me, I think. Let's hold off for a second here just to make sure. Don't need to use a heal. So that one part at least will come back to life after it dies. Although if life 3 works the same for them as it does for me, it shouldn't come back with that much HP. But I wouldn't be surprised if it does something different for the enemy. And okay. I might get wiped out before that here. We certainly made it through this part of the battle a lot easier last time. Oh, come on. Now if that takes out the enemy, then I'm going to have 2 different characters in, I guess, to start the next part. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Well, we're still going forward at least. Everybody still has all their magic. You know, it doesn't really matter as far as which characters for that, so. Yeah, I think that one's more of a pain, kind of just because it's so many parts to the enemy that they get so many turns off. Alright, so Drago and Locke will come back if they get knocked out. I'm just gonna put a preemptive Cure 3 on her. Even if we don't need it, that's fine. Rather not take chances here. Yeah, that's one part down. Okay. Now we're a little weak going into this, but I should get some turns off right away. Just like the beginning of the game. Life, dreams, hope. Where'd they come from? And where are they headed? These things I'm going to destroy. Even if the life root was still active for everybody, I'm gonna reapply it, just in case. I'm gonna have the same thing happen that happened at the end of yesterday. Or at least I'm gonna try not to. Ow. Comes in with that right away here, huh? Well, if we survive... Okay, well... Damn it. Bastard. Yeah, I think everybody's got life 3 on again. And that should bring us pretty much back up to full. I think I'll just queue him up with a Cure 3 anyway, though. Just hold off for a couple turns here. The end comes beyond chaos. Not sure what that little head thing did there. I mean, it made the screen start shaking, maybe, for one thing, but... Goner. That doesn't sound great. Turn the sky red. Well, if we survive this, we'll probably need a heal. Okay. That wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. Okay. I think that should be it. Got the crazy bastard. Yeah, he just starts disintegrating and falling. Kind of do that with a lot of bosses in the earlier Final Fantasy games. I don't think there's anything left to do here. I think that's it. Then we'll get the credits. And then I'll give a short review. I don't think the I don't think the credits in this game are quite as long as some of them. It's breaking up. Yeah, Humaro and Gogo come in there. Just because I think if whoever you didn't bring in the party, they want to have them all here. Although I suppose anybody you didn't pick up in the World of Ruin wouldn't be here. There's no time to lose. Airship's just ahead. So you can still turn into her morph form, I guess, apparently. Come on, everybody. We have to work together. Hera, what's wrong? So maybe power is weakening. There goes the Magicite. It is disappearing. The Magicite. Magic is disappearing from this world. Espers. They no longer exist. You mean Terra too? Come with me. I can lead you out with my last ounce of strength. And that's pretty noble. Got a book on a table. Cyan as Cyan Garamonde. So yeah, they actually give their last names, and it just kind of goes through the cast here and gives a little scene with each one of them, I believe. Cyan, think you can handle that switch? Machines. I hate machines. Analyzing the switch, it's really tough, Cyan. He's something else. You just have to show technology who's boss. Something like that. Setzer as Setzer Gabiani. Yeah, so if you did rename them something else, it would still give their real name here at the end. Wait! Let's go that way. Sometimes in life, you just have to feel your way through a situation. Gambler's luck. Yeah. Daryl, I'm starting to sound just like you. Yep, there's the two-headed coin. Edgar as Edgar Ronnie Figaro. Sabin as... Yeah, they are the two sides of the coin. Sabin Rene Figaro. So there's this kind of a two-in-one type of thing. Yeah, Sabin's a beast. I didn't turn my back on the kingdom, big brother. I knew you'd be a better king. I trained hard knowing I might have to help you one day. Now I know why I have these stupid muscles. Yeah, they're not... text is automatically going there, so I'm trying to keep up on it. Mog as... Mog. Yeah, he doesn't get a last name. He's just Mog the Moogle. Uh-oh. Help! Save me! Edgar's gonna operate the crane to get him. The hair! Watch the hair! So yeah, we didn't get a lot with Mog, but even less with Umaro, I guess. Umaro as Umaro. And he can be a fine character, I think, if you try to utilize him in battle, but it's just not to my play style. It won't open. Ooga. Yep. Brute force Yeti. Makes a path through the rubble for him. Ooga! And this would be Go-Go as Go-Go. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of mimes either in these games. Guess I don't really know much about mimes in real life, but both buttons have to be pressed simultaneously. Go-Go, watch Celeste and do exactly what she does. Well, he is a mime, so yeah, he does exactly as she does. The only problem is he tried miming her so well that he fell through the cracks. Yao as Yao. Yeah, I didn't remember if it gave him a last name. That. Yeah. Got a weird little eyes in the face in the diving helmet there. Yao, find a shortcut. Gonna ride the rocks down. Gao, find shortcut. Okay, Gao. Just pushes Celeste off the edge. It's a little dangerous. That's kind of how he's lived life, I guess. Locke as Locke Cole. Got the opera theme playing. Yeah, Celeste as Celeste Jerry, I think. Come on, this floor's about to break apart. Fuck. Yeah, he dives to save her. I will not let go. I promise. You almost ate it trying to pick up that silly trinket. Yeah, I think it's basically implying, and based upon what they've said, is that those two are kind of going to be an item going forward, you would think. Sarah Branford. Yeah. Father? Sarah, we must part now. We Espers will disappear from this world forever. But if the human part of you is very strongly attached to something or someone, you will probably be able to remain in this world as a human being. Damn. Ottowan's gone now, too. I took that to kind of mean that he was probably the last one, just because he had more of an attachment to her. Probably hung on a little longer. Realm Aroni. Grandpa, stop goofing around. Sorry, dear. If I hear even a peep out of you, I'm going to paint your picture, I think. No, anything but that. Yeah. But you know, just once I'd really like to do a portrait of you, on canvas, of course. Realm, how can you be thinking about pictures at a time like this? Shadow as... just Shadow. Thought it'd be kind of fun if they'd said his real name, Clyde, whatever his last name was. Unless they try to make that still open interpretation. Interceptor, get going. Stay well. There, I'm going to stop running. Going to begin all over again. Not sure if that meant that he's going down with the tower, if that's what he meant to do, or... yeah. Strago as Strago Magus. Magus? Yep, can't reach it. No! A kid like me doesn't, Oh, what? That went too fast. Not giving up. Gotcha! And you, the player. Come with me. You can still fly. Oh, I guess Modouin wasn't the last. It just said the last piece of magicite. It didn't say who it was. Hera, it's okay. Uh-oh. Hera, your strength is going. Got a couple of kids at Barren Falls there, it looks like. Worried about Tara. And do it right, Katarin. Gotta hang in there. So I think she's in labor, is what they're saying. And yeah, I don't know how maneuverable these airships are supposed to be, but looks like it must have been a little bit of a rough ride. For a while longer. Yeah, hang in there for a while longer. Just a little longer. Where's Tara? Making sure everybody's okay. Tara. So I guess Setzer did catch her. That's what I was saying. I don't know how maneuverable the airship is, but that it could basically do a dive bomb, I guess, to catch her. Thank you, Setzer. Didn't I say it before? This is the world's fastest ship. And I think that's basically it. So then they're just going to get the credits here as they're just flying. Well, maybe there's a little bit more. Or maybe it just changes perspectives. Yeah, I don't really remember there being too much more here, so I'm probably going to go ahead and start doing my review quickly. Alright, well, got another Final Fantasy game done here, and it's certainly a gem of a game. I don't know if I would consider this my favorite Final Fantasy, but it certainly might be. It's definitely on the top of the list. It'd be within the top. There are probably 3 or 4 games that I always put right up there, and it's really hard to distinguish between them. It'd be this one, 9, 10, and possibly even 7. Although, just saying that, it kind of makes me feel like 7's probably a little bit behind the others, but it's still right up there. I even like 12 quite a bit. So I'm just going to give a short review with a few pros and cons of things that I thought they did well and things that I thought maybe they could have done a little better. Even though there's not a lot of room for improvement, and anything you tweak might end up changing things significantly to the point where it makes it worse. So we'll just start with the things I like the most. Story, I thought, was really great in this one. A lot of the Final Fantasy games have great story. I think I'd mentioned in 5, I wasn't exactly as fond of that one. And of course, some of the earlier games were a little more limited, like the NES ones. But yeah, this one, I like the way I mean, it's the whole cliche of the evil empire and the rebel group trying to fight against them, but it still works pretty well. That's why people reuse it, because it's a good story plot. And then you throw in the fact that the bad guy actually basically wins, at least for a while in this game. Makes it a little bit unique. The next thing is kind of in line with that. Kefka's a really great villain. You get that whole crazy madman, ultra, becomes like the ultimate power, basically. He becomes a god. And I think they did it better in this game than a lot of the others, for the fact that you have a sense throughout the whole game he's present through it, and you have multiple scenes with just showing how evil and bad he is. Like, there are certain other Final Fantasy games where you barely get any backstory or motivation for the villains. Some games, hell, you don't even know that the villain is the villain until you just get to the very end. I'm talking about you there, Final Fantasy IX. I still like that game, but I don't like the way they set it up at the ending for the final boss. The next thing is the characters. Now, there might be a few too many characters, I don't know. But it still puts it to the point where, especially those dungeons where you have to split up into different groups, it helps you to utilize a lot of different characters. And they have some fun dialogue between them. And they all have kind of a, well, for the most part, most of them have a little bit of side content that's geared towards them. So they do a pretty good job of fleshing all that out. And related to the characters, I want to mention that I like the abilities that they get, which helps make them each a little different on their own. It's kind of like they each have their own job class. Like, Drago's the Blue Mage, Shadow's the Ninja, Edgar's the Engineer, Sabin's the Monk. Yeah, just pretty good way of doing that in this one. The next thing kind of relates to what I said about characters already, but I liked the way that they did the second half of the game in making it a lot of great side quest material. It certainly wasn't necessary for you to complete the game, but it adds a lot to it. And you get a lot of the best equipment and magic and stuff if you go through all of that. But yeah, like I said before, as soon as you get the airship, you could go try to beat the game. It's pretty tough though. I'm sure there are strategies for the speedrunners on doing it. But yeah, I'm not to that level on it. I just enjoy the game, and I always like to try to do everything when I go through a playthrough anyway. Ah yes, here's a scene where we do have the baby now. Guess I'll stop the review for a little bit just to show what we got going on here and give any commentary if they do something different. I don't remember if there's going to be any dialogue or not. I would assume the shadow was the airship passing over. Yeah, Tara's waving at him. There's Thamasa. Oh, they're repairing the house that burned down. Wow. They're fast. I don't know if that's meant to be like he's hitting on her, or... And then Realm is chastising Edgar for hitting on Celeste because, yeah, Locke and Celeste are an item. And it looks like that plant that those two had, the seed they'd planted has sprouted back in Collingen there. There's Sabin doing a sort of salute, it looks like. Because, yeah, we have Figaro Castle now. And Tara lets her hair down to blow in the wind. Finally found something to hold on to in the world. Yeah, the Phantom Forest there. Okay, the end. I think that's all they got then. I'll just continue with my review. So yeah, I pretty much summed up everything I wanted to say about the side quests, just so I appreciated the fact that they added that material in there. The next thing, and I think I mentioned it for pretty much all the Final Fantasies, just because it is always so true, The music was just amazing. Several tracks. Well, first of all the characters had their own themes, basically, and those were all great. The final boss music there with Kefka was amazing. I just can't say enough good about that. I think it was Uematsu did most of these games. It's a legendary composer. At least the first ones. I don't think he does them so much anymore, if at all, for the latest Final Fantasy games, but for the early ones, I think he was pretty much the one in charge of most of it. And the last thing I wanted to talk about as far as my high points were the relics that you got in the game and the way they use that system. They give you so many of them that there's a pretty good variety, and they have, quite a few different abilities that you can do with them. The fact that you can equip 2 of them adds for some variety in the pairing there. So I liked that in their system with the battle mechanics and all that. Just adding a little bit more to it. Things like the dragon boots or the dragoon horn, I never really utilized those, but that allows you to pretty much be a dragoon if you want to. Now we're gonna get on to some, I guess, nitpicks mostly, because there's not too much bad to say about the game, but just things that I know that some people don't like the most, or that maybe could have helped it a little bit. First thing is the magic system and the way you learn things from the Magicite. It does kind of break the game open in that every character can learn all of the magic. Pretty much makes everybody a mage. So that kind of drowns out your characters who were primarily set up as mages to begin with. Although I know, like, Terra has her morph, and Celeste has her runic, and plus I think overall, unless you do stat maxing, they do still have a little bit better magic power than some of the more fighter type of characters like Edgar or Sabin, or Locke even. But I don't know, it just kind of breaks things open a little bit too much almost. I guess you could always just refrain from learning it, but I always just like to complete kind of as much as I can going through a game, so yeah. Another thing, I talked about how much I like the characters and their abilities and all that, but it does kind of almost feel like maybe there are too many characters, to the point where some of them don't end up getting much development, like Mog and Umaru, and, well, I know Gogo's supposed to be like an optional one, and so is Umaru, so they don't really get anything as far as extra dialogue or anything. Well, Umaru can barely talk, and Gogo doesn't really talk. Yeah, so I mean, it's not a big deal, and I think they did pretty well with what they did, and we'll just leave it at that. The next thing that I have to mention, that as a guy that likes to complete stuff, Gao's rages are kind of a pain, because if you're playing through a playthrough and you actually want to try to get all of his rages, which I tried to do several times and I have actually done it, but man, that leads you to hours and hours of fighting on the Veldt. And you can look up guides, and there are certain enemy pairings that show up. Like, there's a total of like 30 or so, maybe it's 30 or 50 different fights. And what I mean by that is, for each of the 50 possible fights you can get into, there are a group of like 20 enemy groups that can show up on that fight. If that doesn't make sense from the way I'm explaining it, just go look up a guide if you're interested in that. Now, two other things that I want to hit on before we end it. I thought the ending was a little bit lackluster compared to some of the other games, in that you're just kind of doing an escape from the tower with a little bit of funny dialogue and all that, giving each character a little bit. But then after that, well, yeah, we're just flying around in the airship and we kind of review or just see a few of the areas and what they're doing to go forward. It is nice for the fact that they at least kind of imply and make it look like, well, the world of Ruin, it had kind of seemed like, well, this is the end. The world's just going to fall and slide into nothing, and then eventually everything will die out. But now it looks like there is hope. Things are starting to grow. People are rebuilding. And without Kefka there to keep burning things down, at least the towns can continue to rebuild and go forward from there. So I like that aspect, at least, for the end. But otherwise, I think it was kind of short and a little bit lackluster. It's still fine, but just my thoughts on it. The last thing, and I know they've done it in other versions, but you could have had some super bosses, I think, would have been nice. I don't think there are any available. I'm pretty sure not in the original version here. But I mean, with the way we're able to grind up for magic and the way you can do stat maxing in this game, I think that was a very ripe opportunity to add in a couple of bosses like an Omega or something. I mean, heck, yeah, even Final Fantasy V had a couple of super bosses. I feel like they could have easily put something like that in this one. Like, I know we had different areas where there were tougher enemies, like the Phoenix Cave, or you had the Magic Master at the top of the Tower of Kefka. But those were just kind of hard bosses. I wouldn't consider them super bosses. The dragons, Doomgaze, and Baba. So I suppose that's kind of what they were looking at there when they made it, but yeah, I don't know. That's just my opinion anyway. People can feel free to disagree. And I'm not saying it took away from the game, it's just I feel like that was an opportunity with something else they could have added into it. Overall, this one would have to get at least probably a 9 out of 10. I know, yeah, generally, a lot of people, you don't want to say you give a 10 out of 10 to a game, because that means everything was absolutely perfect, and, well, it's almost impossible to make a game where everything's perfect. But, yeah, it would be at least a 9 out of 10, if not maybe a 9.5 or something for me. So, that's going to do it for Final Fantasy VI. In this time slot, I am going to go ahead and just keep moving on with Final Fantasy for now. But we're going to move straight to Final Fantasy VII for PS1. I don't know at this point how far I'm going to go, because I do want to kind of try to keep with retro games on this channel. And I suppose then it depends on what you consider retro to be. At this point, I would certainly consider PS1 to still be retro. And I think even PS2 is probably still considered retro, so I'll probably at least make it up through 10 and 12. Then from there, we'll kind of decide what we're going to do. And yeah, I'll probably play like Tactics at some point also, so that'll be in there. So we'll have a ways to go before we get to the point where I would have to consider if I'm going to do 13. Also, I guess with 10, there's 10 too. As much as I don't really appreciate some of the aspects of that game, I do like the battle system and the way that's set up, so I probably will play through that one too, once we get to that point. Anyway, thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the commentary playthrough and would like to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe or follow. And we'll catch you next time.